So I've been using and absolutely loving the MacBook Pro 2016 13-inch model. It's been getting the job done, actually editing all the videos that I make on this channel, multicam and everything, 4K. But there's one thing that it is lacking just a little bit on, and that's screen real estate. It's a beautiful screen, there's just not a whole lot of it. And I knew that there were external monitors available, travel monitors and whatnot, but I did not realize that you could pick them up with USB-C. Apparently something they unveiled at CES either this year or last year, and I'm just now getting on the train. Of the ones that I looked at, there's one from AOC and one from Asus. Asus, I'm probably saying that wrong. Feel free to correct me down below, I know you will. But what I ended up going with, what I wanted to check out, is this monitor that just showed up yesterday that I haven't had a chance to open yet. This is the Asus, I'm gonna go ahead and say Asus for now. This is the Asus MB169C+. Now this monitor retails for about 200 bucks, and while that is a fair price for the monitor, I'm kinda cheap sometimes. So I found they had it available on Amazon Warehouse Deals, and as you can see there, inspected by Amazon Warehouse Deals. I've had some mixed results in the past, so we'll just see how this turns out, I suppose. Spoiler alert, I'd have already opened this just to make sure it wasn't exploded everywhere or anything. I think we're gonna be okay. But instead of paying $200 for it, it was $150. Yes, please. So there you can see it, the MB169 USB Type-C monitor, IPS, full 1080 HD, so it's not a 4K monitor. If it were, I think it would be a whole lot more expensive. This should be the stand, and a little user guide in case you need it for how you can actually set up the stand and attach it to the monitor and everything, and even how to plug it into your laptop. One of the things I really did kind of like about this monitor when I was researching it is there's a built-in menu and buttons and everything, so you can actually make adjustments to the monitor and how everything looks. There's a blue light filter. So for the price that I paid, it's actually got a decent amount of features. But here is the stand and carrying case and cover and all those other things. I'm immediately upset by that. Not that big of a deal, but just, I'm not a fan of Velcro, I'm just gonna say it. And there's Velcro all over this thing. We will make do. There's a little strap here on the inside. Strap, if you can't see it because everything's black. There's some little slots here that presumably will help it stay in place. We'll come back to this in a minute. I guess in the few videos I found out there about it, nobody mentioned it was Velcro. So now I have mentioned it, so if you plan to buy this, beware, Velcro. But inside the box, started off right with a USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable. I should go ahead and mention, if you're thinking about this, if you're looking at this, you have to have a device that has USB 3.1 USB Type-C that supports DisplayPort. I have that because I have the MacBook Pro, but don't just think because your device has USB Type-C that it's going to magically work with it. In here it says Asus VIP member notice, so it's just sort of a thanks for purchasing our product. And of course, most important thing here, covered in styrofoam, is the monitor itself. Boy, this thing is thin, light, and there you can see it. So it mentions up here again, MB169C Plus USB Type-C monitor, has an IPS screen. Most of the previous ones, the AOC monitors that were before this generation, were all TN panels, so they had really terrible viewing angles. They were a little bit brighter, but just really hard to use because you couldn't turn them at any angles. But it's ultra light and ultra slim, as it mentions here. I'm holding it one-handed, no problems. Has this shiny, glossy Asus stuff on the back of it, and not a screen protector to be seen, front or back. It does show a manufacture date of June 2016, so this is actually a little older than I thought it was. And then taking a look around the outside, over on this side it says power, and presumably that'll help you go through the menus as well. Down here we have what looks to be volume rocker, and down at the bottom of this side is the USB Type-C port, and you see it does also mention the display port. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on this side, and nothing on the top. So fairly straightforward. No battery contained inside of this, nothing other than just monitor. So basically if you want to do anything, you've got to put it in its stand, attach it through USB-C to your device. Why don't we do that? And I'm gonna have to admit it, I'm gonna have to use this little guide to attach this. We'll be all right. All right, this is like origami. See if I can do this properly again. I'm gonna start over. There's gonna be a 15-minute section of the video devoted to setting this up. It's in this at all. I don't like the stand. I don't like it at all, not in the slightest. As you can hopefully see, this is what's holding it in place. This is all that's holding it in place. And as soon as I sat it down, it fell. I love that. All right, folded these up just a little bit, and hopefully it'll stay a little better, hopefully. I guess technically when you're moving around and stuff, you're not gonna be doing, I guess I just kind of figured it would live in its stand. Anyway, not the point. But suffice to say, I will be on the lookout for another stand for this thing. And I've gone ahead and plugged in the USB Type-C cable into the monitor. If I go ahead and plug it into my laptop, we probably ought to switch angles. There we go, much better angle. So if we go ahead and plug in the cable, you can see a light came on up here. Yeah, you can see that light. It says Asus. And now we've got two monitors, and they automatically figured out where they're supposed to be, roughly. I can always drag and drop between them, just take my Final Cut and go between monitors, no problems. And taking a look at the resolutions over here, it mentions it was default for the display, and when I changed it to scaled, it shows 1080p. I can always change it down as low as 1344 by 756, but I don't know why you would want to. And 1600 by 900 is also an option, but standard works just fine for me. Now, I don't have long-term experience with this yet. The colors look a little bit more washed out than the panel on my laptop, but the good thing about that is if I go ahead and just push the button over here, I can go into the menu, and from here I can change the mode, I can change blue light settings, I can change colors, image sharpness, system setup and everything. It's not a touchscreen, so I can't do anything like that in here, but if I come into just the modes, standard mode, theater mode, you can see the colors changed pretty dramatically there. Game mode, night view mode, sRGB reading, darkroom, scenery. So I mean, there's a different setting for everything, and you can probably go through and customize those. You can change blue light levels if you want it to be more orange for nighttime viewing, specific color settings as I mentioned. So not bad at all. But yeah, the skin tones are definitely sort of lacking a little bit at the moment on standard. But just very early impressions. I like the way it looks. I like the fact that it's an external monitor that I can run off of one cable. The colors definitely need some work, but I'll be working on that. And I absolutely despise the stand, so I'll be on the lookout for something a little bit better. Let me know if you have any experience with this monitor or any of the other Asus external monitors, or maybe even how this compares to the AOC one, because the AOC one I think is coming out in August. Maybe I can pick that up and compare the two. Use both of them. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video on this to let you know how it works after I've used it for a month, after I've traveled with it a little bit. I definitely love the fact that this gives me an option where I can work with two screens without too much overhead in terms of carry weight and size. So thanks as always to you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you again next time.